Okay, so let us continue the same what we discussed in the previous session, right? So I'm just going to talk about completely today how we are going to dealing with the variables and data types. So far, we have seen right two things. So let me open variables demo project. So far we have seen three things: string and generic and Boolean. So let's move on to this integer. How we are dealing with the integer variables. So this is we used to call it as number variable in UiPath. So number variable is also known as integer. So which is used to store numeric type of information. Like if you want to store only numeric part, yes, where I can able to store the information. So this can be used to perform any two, mathematical operations to perform, or those areas. Okay, if you want to store, integer type of information, yes, I can able to do by using number variables. So let's flip to the UiPath Studio. So let us see a small example so that we can understand better. So I'm just creating one new flowchart. So I'm just going to do addition of two numbers. So so before going to, so what is the first and foremost when I'm creating any sequence or flowchart? The first and foremost thing is we have to declare the variable first of all. So my requirement is here. I just want to perform addition of two numbers. Okay. So how many variables are required? First of all, int. So int number one. So int number one, and here let us variable type should be integer, and we come back to here. I'm declaring one more number, and I'm selecting integer and storing result right int sum. Let me create one more variable. So far, so we have declared three number type information, right? So this is the name of the variables. I have declared three variables int number one, number two, and sum. So these two are the first value and second value. So addition of two numbers should be stored somewhere, right? So here I'm just storing this. Okay. Now I just want to assign some values to one A. So how we have to assign the values to variable? So we have a design activity called assign. So what is this first number? Int first number. Come back to here. Okay. Let's say example. I have hardcoded some values here. 10. Same thing. I'm just going to drag and drop here. So what is this? Int number two. I'm going to declare some values on top of it. Yes. And if you want to perform arithmetic operations, so make sure that we have to use the assign activity only. So what is that? Int sum equals to int number one plus int number two. Oh yes, I have done with the addition of two numbers here. Now what is the final step? I just want to display this output on this output panel. Should I currently I'm just using right line here, sum of two numbers. So what is the result content here? In sum. So just going to throw an exception, because which is always right line going to accept only toString. So that what I want to do here, so what we have to do, we have to convert into dot toString. small flowchart we have drawn here. So in this workflow, right, I have declared three variables. First of all, in this assign, I'm assigning some values to the first and second, and these two I'm sum, and I'm just store it into in sum variable. So pretty much simple. And finally, I'm displaying the output of the integer sum. So how I'm going to display like this in sum dot toString. Here I'm just appending. I'm just for better understanding output. I'm just showing the sum of two numbers. Quickly save this and run it. What is going to happen? Here we go. Sum of two numbers 30. So whatever we have given, right, 10 and 20, so it is going to show here 30. So this is how integer is going to work. Any queries here? Yeah.
Yeah. One doubt in the right line part. The sum of two numbers, which is going to be as a the output, first output, so that you have given within double quotes. Okay. And then you concatenate plus that variable name.
Yeah.
The storing variable name. Why did you give two string?
Yeah. So why I have given toString here, right? If you remove toString, so what will happen? It is going to throw an exception. See here, so which is telling like a string to double the conversion. So because it is going to, I told you clearly here, the right line, log message and message box will always accept string type of information.
String. Okay.
So further, since it is an integer, right? I just want to convert into toString. That's all.
Okay. So any data type we try to write in right line should be converted to string.
Exactly right. So irrespective whatever it is, integer, float, double, or whatever it is, even Boolean, okay. So make sure that we have to convert into toString.
Okay.
So this is a small snippet for this how to do the addition of two numbers. Here I just want to, instead of hard coding, so we have another thing is called how I have to return the data from the user and how we have to display. So we have input dialog control, so which is going to retrieve the data from the user. So I'm just removing this assigning concept. So if you could see, I'm just double click this. Input dialog is like a one small dialog box which is going to appear to the user where it is going to ask us some data to be entered. Okay. So here I just given some title. Okay. So what is this? Addition. So what is the label? So label is enter. So first number. So this one, right? So whatever reading text from the user should be stored it into somewhere, right? Where you are going to store it in this, and I think you are seeing the properties, right? The result content should be stored it into one variable. So what is the variable here? Int number one. Now come back to the. This is also I'm just removing. I'm going to drag and drop one more input dialog control. So I'm just double click here. Even this title is same, right? Addition. So what is the label here? Enter number 2. And this also, after read the content from the user, I just want to store it under somewhere. So where are you going to store here? So I have a desired variable already that is called in number 2. I have declared here. Now I have done the. I just read the data from the user. I have assigned to the number 1 and number 2, and the remaining is same here, and which is going to whatever I read the values and the sum here, I'm going to display some value on the white line. Quickly save this and then let us run. and see how this is going to be executed here. Here we go. So this is the input dialog box. So what is this addition? So addition is title here, and enter first number is called the label. Here I'm just entering the first value 25. So whatever the value have been entered here, which is going to store it into int number 1, because output content of this control, I'm just going to push it into one variable and just click OK. Obviously, which is going, I mean, one more title, one more dialog box which is going to display here. Here I'm entering some value called 25 again. Okay, I'm just click OK. Here we go. The sum of two numbers 50. But this input dialog, right? So we might not be used in real time, but I'm just letting you here. We have a design control which is going to ask some input from the user. Any queries? That's it for the this number variable. So we will see more examples on the integer, combination with all the types in upcoming sessions. Any queries here?
Oh, normal.
Okay, fine, good. Let's move on to the next important thing called array. So far we have seen, right, how to declare a single value, how to interact with a single value over the workflow. Let us discuss about the array. So array is one of the important concepts in UiPath, where we are going to store, I mean to say that we can store multiple values in a same time. That means that if we want to store more number of values in a particular variable, right? If we want to store more number of values, that means that if we want to store 1 to 10, 1 to 100 values into particular variable, but if it is a normal integer variables, what we have to do each and so we can assign only one value at a time. Correct. If we want to store multiple values in a particular variables where arrays come to the picture, so array is nothing but what? It is array is a group of elements of same data type. That means that if you declare integer array where I can store only integer type of information, if you store string array where I can store only string type of information. So this is how your array is going to be work. So array, if you declare right array of 3 equals to 1, 2, 3, that means that this is the declaration of the array and this is nothing but initialization of the array. So array right index is always starts with 0 here. So what is the array of 0th location? So 1 it is going to retrieve. Array of 1 location which is going to return the second value. So how, the array of 2 is nothing but which is going to return the value of 3. So this is how array is going to work in UiPath. So let us flip to the UiPath Studio. So where I'm just going to create one sequence. I'm just creating here. So first of all, how to declare an integer type of variable. So let's check here and int array. That means that, so how to declare array here? Array of p will be there. So here, so what is the type of array? See, array is type of anything here. Array of Boolean, array of string, array of object, something like this. If I'm declaring integer, right, you have to be select integer and click OK. See, array of t. Array is nothing but the collection of variable of same data type. That means that if you declare integer, well, you can store only integer type of information into the array. I'm just clicking OK, and let's come back to here. How I'm going to assign some values to the array variable. How we are going to do this? Here I'm declaring int array. So here within the double braces, right? Curly braces. I'm going to declare the variables like this, values like this. So now this is one variable which holds 5 values. Now how I want to display the values from the, I just want to display values from the array. How I'm going to do that? So let's let us use this time log message. So int array of, so 0. So 0 in the sense what? It's always, if you want to retrieve the data from the array, make sure that you have to pass the index. So obviously, which is going to return us some data. I mean to say that here value from the past index here. Here I'm passing index as 0. So 0th location, what is the value is there? 1. So which is going to return 1 in this scenario. Let's quickly save this and run this snippet and see the output. Here we go. The one is, one is going to display from 0th location. If I'm trying to access, right? If I'm trying to access 7th location. So what is the value which is going to return here? Can anyone tell me?
It won't display any value, right? It will display 0.
Yeah, what is going to return?
Index error problem. Error message will be there.
Okay, let us see. Okay, fine. Let us see what is going to return here. I'm just running my bot. Obviously, which is going to throw an exception. So what is the exception here? Has thrown exception, index was out of range. That means that I have only 0 to 4 indexes are available in my array, but you are passing out of bounds. That means that out of range you are passing that, obviously, which is going to throw an exception here. So this type of exception can be handled. We have no right-hand exception handling mechanism.
Morgan, yeah.
We're going to how we are going to handle the exception without breaking your bot. That we'll discuss in upcoming.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah,
Can you pause for 2 seconds, Albert? 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Morgan. Sorry.
Oh, no issues.
Yes.
So
Morgan, I have one doubt here. See here, to get the value of the particular array index, we use you use your log message option. Okay.
Yeah.
But in the previous example, just adding 2 numbers and display the addition of 2 numbers, you used some other box, option, right? Like
that is called right. I have used. So here I'm just using log message.
That's what. Why the same? Why don't you use the previous one?
Yeah, that
so
is
what
also
is the difference?
That is also we can use it. Actually, in real time, right? So we should that we have to use the log message option. Here, I have a lot of levels are available as we discussed. Okay, so right line is just we have an activity. Just I'm letting you guys like we have a right line also for displaying data on the output where we cannot filter the data. So if you write the log message, right? So what will happen? Whatever the data you are you are displaying data in the log message. So if you are running from the orchestrator, so log message data will be pushed into UiPath orchestrator logs database.
Okay.
So from that, which is going to retrieve, and which is going to push it into orchestrator logs.
Okay. So whenever we write any output we are going to get, that should be defined as the log message always.
Yes, that is right.
Only then that will post to the orchestrator log point.
Log that will be whatever we are while running the bot from orchestrator. So whatever the logs you have used, right? So log message activity. these information, what orchestrator does, it is going to retrieve from here and push it into orchestrated database.
Okay.
So orchestrated database, or we have a few other things also that we'll discuss. Okay.
Okay.
So at real time, make sure that always use log message. That is what I'm just telling. But for time being, I'm just using the right line itself. No
Okay.
differences. Yeah, fine. So any queries here?
No more. No more.
Yeah, good. So let's quickly, go through the datetime variable. So datetime variable basically, which is going to use store current date and time or any datetime information into that. So obviously, wherever we go, we are dealing with the datetime operation. So make sure that we have a design activity, so design called datetime. So let's quickly create one sequence. Datetime demo. Let's create this. And let's create variable first of all. So what is this here? Let's create datetime val. So this should be right. What is this? This should be a datetime. So obviously datetime will not be listed down here very first time. So let's go with a datetime system dot datetime. Here we go. Here we go. System dot datetime. I'm just selected here. So let us assign some values to this. How we're going to assign by using assign activity. So what is this? Datetime. Here, right? I'm just assigning now. So we have a now property which is going to return so current date and time here. Okay. So obviously this is our type is called datetime. So which is going to accommodate here. So I just want
Morgan, one question here.
yeah.
In the variable part, we have the default column, right? So there
Yeah.
itself we can define the value, right?
Yes. We can
Yes.
define over there also.
So what is the difference between defining here and there in the separate assigning box?
So very initially, right? If you're declaring now, here both are same. No
Okay.
difference. Its default value. I'm declaring a variable, so I'm just initializing. I'm declaring here and I'm just initializing part, only completing at a single shot. Here I'm just, so basically, right, if you want to override the default values, I can use the assign and I'm just going to override the existing value. If you want, if you have a situation like that, or else
Okay.
it is not a mandatory, right? I'm just using some assign activity and where I'm assigning that stuff.
So best practice is define the value in the separate assign box.
Yes, that is the best one.
Okay.
Here, right, I'm just displaying some data here. I just want to display current date from this date time value. Here I'm printing date time value dot to short date string. The same thing I'm just going to just copy this and paste it to start, and I'm just going to display time as well. So I'm going to display date time also. How I'm going to display date time? Simply display dot toString. Here I am displaying date, time, and toString from the now. So what is a now here? Now is something which is going to talk about current date and time. That I'm going to assign some value. I'm just assign the current date and time into particular variable. From there, I'm retrieving the date, time, and date time. toString in the sense which is going to display entire information. Quickly save and run this. Let us see what is the output. Here we go. See here, this is the time, date, time, and this is the date time information. So this is how you are going to display the data from the user. Just an example, if I want to desired format, I want to display the design format. So here you can mention the format as a string. So what is the format here? So I just want to display in this, right? Let us see what will happen. See here. So we can change the formats. So how based on your system format, how based on your application format, right? Some application may be using different as formats. So we have list of formats available in the overhead. So if you want to change the current DateTime formats, also I can display here like this. Any queries?
Mohan, here
Yeah.
in the first one to short data string,
Yeah.
date string, which is going to give us the date, current date.
Yeah.
And similarly, the last one, you have given only two string. So what is the difference between this? For both, we are going to get anyway the date of current.
No, toString which is going to display entire information. See here, toString which is going to return current date and time. Okay. Okay, let me show you on the output. See, this is a toString, right? The last one, what I'm highlighting, right? So this is called toString. toString is going to display current date and time here. But this is a toString where I'm just converted to my own format. So what is the format which I have given? DDMYYYY. So obviously what will happen, which is going to return my format. But what is the default format here? Month. So what is the month and date and year? It is got display. The default format is coming from the UiPath Studio. But the default format, if you want to change it
No,
by
you are
using
changing the format. Yeah.
desired format. So based on your system format or application format, if you want to change it, yes, I can able to change. So by using the toString off, where you can pass the format.
Okay. So this message box also supports only string, right?
Obviously.
Oh, so any date or any number that we want to bring out through this message box, it should be joined with the string, right?
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, it will throw an error.
Yeah, we have to convert into string.
String. Okay. Okay. Getting it.
Good. So this is how your DateTime variable, DateTime is going to work in UiPath Studio. So next one, important concept called, so very important. This is data table variables, which is going to we are completely your entire if you declare any application, if you are going to any application where you have to we deal with some multiple type of data. That means that here, if you want to store big pieces of information, like if you want to store one rows and columns data into particular variable, yes, I can able to do with the help of data table. So data table variable. So which is going to act like a database or a simple spreadsheet, which is contains rows and columns. Okay. So basically, where this data type is found from the system data table namespace. Here I'm just introducing a new term called namespace. Namespace is nothing but a collection of logical classes. So what is a logical classes here? Data table is also one class which is going to deal with data table operations. So we'll see in detail how to know where we will get this data table data type. So basically, this data table are used to, if you want to use to migrate specific data from one database to another database. Yes, it is going to use because so one database which is contain different types of tables. I'm going to retrieve the table and I'm going to push it into data table because data table is which is going to be accommodate in the form of rows and columns data. So obviously, what will happen? So we can say which is going to be used in when you are doing any migration concept also. So, so if you want to store, just say example in IRCTC, right? You have one table of contents like which is going to display the list of trains based on your search result. If you want to extract the entire table information and I want to push it into somewhere, so the somewhere is nothing but here data table. That means that data table can accommodate rows and column format of rows and columns data from the we are trying to extract from the web page or website. So let us see one small demo for better understanding here. Quickly, let me create a flowchart here. So there,
Morgan, yes, a small information.
yeah.
Last 10 minutes, we'll have a question session on today's whatever that we have seen.
Sorry, say it again.
The last 10 minutes,
Oh,
we'll have a question session, whatever that we have seen today. So
good. Okay, we'll have it.
okay. So we will wind up 7:30, 7:30 or 7:40, whatever that you prefer is okay.
Yeah. We'll try to wind up as quickly because I have. So yeah, fine. Let us discuss up to 7:15 today. So
Okay. Yeah, that would be okay. Next 10 minutes we'll discuss on the doubts. We'll go with the doubts.
go ahead. Good. Let us
Okay,
continue this.
thanks. Yeah, thanks.
So I'm just creating data table demo here. So if you click data table here, if you type it, which is going to display list of activities. Data. Here we go. So data table can be do these many operations from the data table concepts. Here, right, the first and foremost thing, let us create. Let us see build data table concept. So build data table is one of the activity which is going to use build one or construct one data table as we are doing in the database. Double click this, okay, click on data table. Here, it is going to become like this. So I'm just deleting the default values. Okay, let me create one data table here. Here, what is the column name? Just the example, I'm going to create data table for student information. Okay, SNO is of type what? It is an integer. So it is going to allow null values, auto increment in the sense you don't need to enter the value, right? How we are doing it, creating a data table, table in the SQL, right? The same thing we are going to create here. So I'm just click here, OK, and SNO I have created one column which is type of integer. I'm just creating one more column name here. Yes, name is of type string. I'm just clicking OK. I'm just going to create one more column name called fee. Let's create this one as integer and click OK. So okay, let's have these three columns. So
Always thinking on fee, yeah?
so what I'm doing here, I'm just declaring three columns. If you want to enter some values here, yes, I can able to enter the values here like that. I'm entering something like I'm entering next record. Like if you enter, obviously what will happen? You can enter a number of values here. I'm entering for values. Fine. Now, now my data table is ready. So I'm just created statically here. I'm just created column as well as I'm just declaration static declaration here. I'm just clicking OK. So after clicking OK, so what will happen? This builder, if you could see the properties here, the output should be a data table. So before that, what we have to do, we have to declare data table. So DT student, here obviously data table will not be displayed here. Click on browse type. So data table, here we go. System dot data table. That is what in the PPT I have explained where we are getting this data table information. We are getting from the system dot data table. So if you this is data table, right? So make sure that we have to create a memory for that. How we are going to create memory, which is going to by using new keyword. So new is nothing but dynamic memory allocation. New data table. Now let's click on the build data table activity. The output should be stored in this. Where I want to store output, this output should be stored in DT student. Fine. Now I have a desired data table. Okay, I have built one data table. For that, I have given one name called DT student. So what is the next step? I just want to, what I'm trying to say, I just want to display the data from the data table. How I am going to do that? We have an activity called output data table. So output data table, which is going to take input as a data table. So what is the data table which we have declared here? DT student. And what is the return type? So directly, right, we cannot able to convert data table dot toString here. So that if we want to display data from the data table, so we have a desired data called output data table. So what is the input for this? This is going to take input as an integer, data table, and this data table which is going to convert into one output variable. So before that, let us create one output variable called string str value. Okay, fine. So let's go back to the output data table and quickly assign to this. So what is that? Str value. I hope you got it here. So I'm just converting data from data table to string. So this is how we have to do it. Okay. And finally, if you want to print the data from here, so either way you can print, either you can use the write line or log message or message box, you can use it. So here str value, and quickly save this and run it. Here we go. See here, SNO, SNAME, fee, and the values also I'm able to print it. So from the build data table concept as well as output data table activity. Pretty much simple example which I have given here. I'm just creating one data table I have created and I just pass some values into that. And finally, I'm assigning all these values should be pushed into my data table variable. So this is type of data table. So now whatever the data have been entered here, everything is going to be pushed into DT student. And finally, I'm displaying data from the DT student. How I'm going to display data from DT student? So by using output data table concept. Here we go. So output data table is nothing but which is an activity which is going to take input as a data table. To which data table you are printing data, and this should be converted into string here. So this string I'm just assigning some value and variable, and finally I'm assigning here, and I'm displaying the str value, so which is going to display the data from the data table. Any queries here?
Yeah, Mohan.
Mohan,
Yeah.
yeah. Here, the right line, you said always it should be aligned with the string, right? Because it's a default string format. So,
Yeah,
but
this
here
is
we give only the.
str value is a string only, right? Here, str value is a string.
Okay, so since you already defined that as a string, you don't need to define here specifically, right? Separately.
Yeah, if it is a string, I don't require to convert again those two string,
Convert.
correct?
Yeah, okay. Okay. If it is integer, then that's required. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see that it was declared as string. Okay.
yeah. Bala, you are trying to ask
Normal-
something.
Yeah. Normally, if, suppose if we are creating a data table in the .NET framework, we can directly display, right? DS data build the data table from the adapter. Like that we won't have any type like. So why we want to declare a string value here, even though the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, right. So I can't able to directly print data from the .to string. So this because so data table is nothing but what? It is not a string type of information. It is not a single value, right? Which is going to
Yes.
be data. It is going to
Okay.
have of rows and columns information. Directly I can print it like data table dot to string. So that
Yeah.
we have a desired activity called output data table is an activity which is going to return data which is going to convert data table into string so that I can able to find the string so I can able to see the output like this. Got it, Bala?
No. Yeah, I got it. But my point is, my question is like, we have created a data table, okay, and the output data table is like a it's output of the input data table, okay. So why we can't show only the output data table instead of showing in the right line or a log message or a message box?
Bala, one second, Bala. Yeah, can you please tell me now what is the question you are telling me instead of
No, yeah, we have created means we have already declared created a data table called data table, okay,
yeah.
data table table. So
Hmm.
that is DTU student is a data table name.
Yeah.
We have already predefined. We have already entered all the data in the predefined manner. I
Yeah.
just want to. We are so if you why we can't directly display from that student data table instead of having an output data table? Is it
Yeah,
possible here? Because yeah,
no, it is not possible. Directly, I
oh,
cannot print data from the data table.
data table. Okay.
Now, for printing data table, so make sure that we require output data table only for printing data from the data table.
So like this means is concept wise it is here in print data table in build data table we are creating an adapter, and here we are using that ds.fill concept like in output data table.
Output data table, I'm just, it's very simple. It is going to take only, DT student, I'm converting it to string, that's all. It's a conversion. It's a conversion of
Okay.
data table to string.
Okay. So here if you are declaring a variable means it automatically it will take the corresponding variable type and it will return the data, right?
Yes, here, right, if you could see the properties of the output data table, which I'm highlighting now. So input, what is the input for this? DT student. DT student having the rows and columns data, correct? So,
Yes.
so this information, which is this activity internally convert into data table into string. That's all.
Okay.
But when I'm trying to find this string, so I'm getting the output like this. Entire it is going to display in the form of table only.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah. Any more queries?
No.
Fine.
Just my doubt is I just want to know is it the adapter and data set concept. I thought that like it is like that's what I asked.
No,
Oh, you
directly.
want to okay.
Yeah.
So always when you create a data table, And the same table, when you want to see on the output part, it has to define on the another variable, that variable to be defined with the string type, right?
Yes, yes. If you want to display, see, this is not a mandatory always. This is not a mandatory. It's output data in real time, right? So we just want to test whether this table is able to data or not. Okay. So in this case, we can able to use output data and print the data, and this we can push it in the logs. So in the logs, you can see.
Okay.
So, so that's it for today. So we'll see more example on data table tomorrow. So how to read the data from the Excel sheet, how to do operations, okay, how to enter dynamically data into the data table. So what are the ways we are entering data into the data table? So now over to you guys for queries. If you have any queries, we'll discuss queries and we'll wind up the session today.
Okay, so I have, I mean, just want to recap that whatever functionalities that we used from the left side of the panel, some of the components we have
Activities.
available,
Activities.
activities, right? That you drag and put into the pan, and you did you define something on it. So what are the this components that we seen today, Mohan? One is a write line, and then log message box, right? Now,
Yes,
just
right
why
line
I'm
log
asking
message.
this, now we'll see. I'll just see in the Google that what are the, the complete definition of each and every component. So we'll get the clear, more idea on that.
Yeah.
And then what else we saw? Write line and log message, and then assign,
Assign
right?
we have here. Assign we
Assign,
have here. So
and
align
then
is it build data table, output data table.
build data table, right?
Yeah.
Build data table and output data table.
Yeah.
Output
Data
data
table.
table. And so every time when we define the time or a data table type, we system type we have to define, then it will go by, it will take us to the module uh, separate pan where we can pick up which type we want, right?
Yes, exactly. You can define your own type format. That
Okay.
is called format.
Okay, so only this 5 modules so far we have seen, right?
Yeah, we have seen only by these activities.
Okay, so the assign module is to assign any variable,
Yeah.
and then write line is to see the output of the
Yeah. Right line and log
output of
message,
the
both of these to see the
operations.
output.
Okay, log
Yeah.
message is same. The build data type is to build the data type, build the data table, kind of
The
table we
construct.
create.
Yeah, if you want
Yeah,
to construct
constructing.
a table, so
Yeah.
where we have to use the build data type.
So the same, if you want to see on the output, we'll have to assign that to the one output data type variable,
Yeah.
for which we go with the output data type component. Okay.
This is basically conversion. If you want to convert into data table to string, yes, I can able to do by using output data table concept.
Okay.
Bala, do you have any queries on it?
Mohan, can you please click the output data table one more time for me? I want to see the properties. So,
Mm-mm-mm. Yes.
okay. Okay, fine. I'm fine with it. Thanks. And having no queries.
Okay, guys. That's it for today. So have a good day.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Hello, Mohan. One more, one
Yeah, yeah,
small thing.
yeah.
Any link do you have which helps us to understand more on each and every module we have available in the left side in detail?
Yeah, that is I told you, right? In the very part, directly click on the very part. So where he has given a list of activities where description has given.
Okay.
Hmm? And that's all right. Anything else?
Yeah, nothing. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mohan.
So here's the log and